Captain Dorian Hale stood at the wide window of the Resolute's command deck, watching the quiet stars slip past like cold silver dust. The ship moved smoothly through the dark, but inside him there was a heaviness that refused to move. His crew whispered stories about him, stories of bravery, impossible victories, and calm leadership even when death was moments away. But none of them knew how tired he truly was. None of them knew how often he wished he could feel something again other than duty and guilt. Once, Dorian Hale had been full of hope, the kind of officer who inspired others simply by standing among them. But after the fall of Alaris colony, after thousands died on a world he had sworn to defend, his hope had cracked like glass under pressure. He carried the weight quietly, hidden behind a strong voice and a straight posture. Only he felt the truth. His heart was still storming inside him, wild and out of control. The command deck doors opened with a gentle hiss behind him. "Captain Hale," Commander Jax Marin called. "The new civilian specialist has arrived." Dorian didn't look away from the stars. "Send her in." A moment later, soft footsteps entered the room. Dorian finally turned. Dr. Mara Linth stood there, wearing the calmest expression he had seen on any person in years. She wasn't military, but she held herself with a quiet confidence that made her seem at home even among the ship's strict order. Her dark hair was tied loosely, and her eyes, clear, steady, thoughtful, studied him with curious interest. "Dr. Linth." Dorian greeted with a polite nod. "Welcome aboard the Resolute." "Dr. Linth." "Dr. Linth," Dorian greeted. "Thank you, Captain," she said in a voice as steady as her gaze. "It's good to finally meet you." Jax cleared his throat. Dr. Linth has been assigned to observe crew behavior in high-stress environments. Her work may help the Terran Vanguard improve training and recovery strategies. Dorian nodded. "I've read the documents. You'll have full access to non-classified areas. My crew will cooperate." Mara smiled a little. "I'm not here to cause trouble, Captain Hale. I'm here to understand how humans keep moving forward despite fear, pressure, or loss. Your ship is famous for surviving situations that should have destroyed it many times." "There was nothing special about it," Dorian said quietly. "We followed protocol. We were lucky." "Luck," Mara replied gently, "is rarely enough to explain human survival." Her tone wasn't challenging. It was calm, almost soothing. And somehow, that calm reached Dorian in a way he hadn't expected. It felt strange, uncomfortable, even to be looked at by someone who wasn't judging him or expecting something from him. Instead, she simply seemed to see him. Jax excused himself, leaving the two alone. Dorian returned his gaze to the starfield. "We have orders to investigate an anomaly on the edge of Terran space," he said. "A strange gravitational distortion." Several ships disappeared near it. Mara stepped beside him, also looking out the window. "Sounds dangerous." "It is." "Then why send your ship?" Dorian paused. "Because danger is what we do best." She studied him again, as if she heard something in his voice he didn't intend to reveal. "Captain, may I ask something?" "Go ahead." "Why does your tone sound like you don't want to survive this mission?" Dorian stiffened. "That's an inappropriate question." "Maybe," she said softly, "but it's not an unreasonable one." He turned to face her fully for the first time. Her expression wasn't cold or confrontational. It was simply honest. Calm. Very calm. And something about her presence stirred a faint discomfort inside him, the discomfort that came from someone stepping too close to the truth. "I'm fine, Doctor," he said, closing the topic. But Mara did not look convinced. The days that followed were smooth but tense. Mara walked the halls observing crew behavior, taking quiet notes, asking gentle questions, and always carrying that strangely peaceful aura with her. Crew members liked her immediately. They said she made them feel safe, less anxious, more balanced. Dorian avoided her more than he admitted, partly because her observations felt too accurate, and partly because she reminded him of a world inside himself he no longer understood. Yet, she still found moments to speak with him. One afternoon, she approached him as he studied holographic charts of the anomaly. "Captain," she said, "may I share something? If it's about the crew, Yes. It's about you, Dorian sighed. Doctor, you stand like a man waiting for the universe to hit him again, she said softly. Not like someone preparing for a mission. More like someone preparing for punishment. Over. She said something zerviziteral. Over. He froze. Her voice remained gentle, not sharp. Something broke you before this assignment. Something you haven't forgiven yourself for. He didn't answer. He couldn't. But she didn't push further. She simply added, You don't have to tell me anything now. But remember this. Storms don't last forever. Captain Hale. Even the worst ones. Dorian looked at her. And for a brief moment, the storm inside him paused. Just a little. 2 days later, the anomaly came into view. The Resolute exited faster than light travel, and the command deck lit up with warning signals. The distortion hung in space like a ripple in glass bending light, twisting gravity, and pulsing with faint energy waves. It looked calm. It felt anything but calm. All systems steady, Jax reported. We're holding distance. Sing long. Dorian gave a sharp nod. Maintain observational scans. Do not approach until we understand the gravity pattern. Mara entered the command deck quietly, watching the anomaly with wide but composed eyes. It's beautiful, she whispered. Beautiful things can still kill you, Dorian replied. True, she answered. But fear alone doesn't explain human survival either. Sometimes, curiosity leads us forward. Dorian didn't respond. He focused on the readings flashing across the screens. Suddenly, the ship shuddered. Gravity spike, Jax shouted. It's pulling us in. Engage thrusters. Full reverse, Dorian ordered. The deck vibrated violently. Lights flickered. The anomaly stretched out waves like invisible hands, grabbing the ship with a force stronger than anything natural. Captain, it's no use, helmsman Riva said. We're caught. The Resolute pitched forward, dragged closer and closer to the shimmering distortion. Dorian gripped the railing as the deck tilted. Hold steady, he commanded. Brace for gravitational breach. The crew followed orders with disciplined speed. Mara, however, remained in the middle of the storm, calm, watching the anomaly with narrowed eyes. Then the ship jerked again, and a strange sound rippled through the hull. Not a physical sound, a whisper, soft, alien, echoing through every console, every corridor, every mind. Mara gasped. Captain, did you hear that? Dorian nodded slowly, eyes narrowing. Yes, the whisper came again, half language, half emotion. It felt ancient, lost, broken, and yet, strangely human. Jax turned pale. Captain, the signal is coming from inside the anomaly. The anomaly began to pulse, sending out waves that shook the ship like a leaf caught in a hurricane. Mara looked at Dorian with calm but serious eyes. Captain, I think it's trying to communicate. Before Dorian could respond, the ship lurched one final time, and the Resolute was swallowed whole by the anomaly. The stars disappeared, the whisper became silence, and darkness claimed them all. Not with light, not with sound, only with a deep, heavy feeling. As if the universe itself was taking a slow breath, Captain Dorian Hale opened his eyes. For a moment, he could not understand what he was seeing. The command deck of the Resolute was there, but it wasn't the same. The air shimmered like heated glass. Colors shifted softly, like paint floating in water. Shapes bent in tiny ways that hurt the mind if he focused too long. They were inside the anomaly, or inside something created by it. Status? Dorian demanded, forcing his voice to remain steady. Jax pushed himself up from the floor, rubbing his head. Systems are responding, sir, but everything is strange. It's like our sensors can't decide what's real. Riva stared at her console. Captain, the stars outside don't match any known patterns. Dorian stood. His chest felt heavy, but not from fear, from something else. The same whisper he heard earlier still brushed the edge of his thoughts. Soft and distant. He turned and saw Mara Linth standing near the center of the deck. She looked calm, too calm, but her eyes were wide with curiosity, not fear. Captain, this place feels alive. she said quietly. Dorian didn't like the way she said it, but he couldn't deny her words. The command deck flickered. The walls rippled as if reacting to their emotions, the fear, the confusion, the rising tension. It was like the environment responded to them. Everyone breathe. Dorian ordered firmly. We're not losing our heads. We're assessing the situation. His voice steadied the crew. They returned to their stations, though their hands still shook. Mara approached him, keeping her voice soft so the others wouldn't hear. Captain, this environment is reacting to us. Human emotion is changing the space itself. Explain. When something influences reality like this, it usually responds to strong mental signals, she said. Fear, stress, guilt. All of those could affect what we see. Dorian's jaw tightened. So you're telling me this place can read us? Maybe not read, she corrected. But it definitely feels us. Dorian didn't say anything, but he felt a familiar pressure rise inside him, the pressure he always fought to hide. The storm. His personal storm. And if this place responded to emotion, then his storm could become dangerous. For everyone, hours passed, though time felt distorted inside the anomaly's pocket universe. Pieces of the environment kept shifting. Corridors changed shape. Lights dimmed in response to fear, spikes, and strange echoes moved through the ship like memories made alive. The crew tried to stay calm, but not all succeeded. A young technician, Vale, panicked when the floor shimmered under his feet. It's going to swallow us, he cried. It's alive. Before he could finish, the hallway around him folded into a twisted mirror of itself. The walls stretched closer, like claws. Dorian rushed in with security officers. Calm down, Vale! Breathe! I can't. Mara stepped forward slowly, placing a hand on Vale's shoulder. Look at me. Her voice was so steady, so peaceful, it seemed to slow the air around them. Listen to my voice, she said. You're safe. You're scared. But nothing is hurting you. The space is reacting to your fear. That means you control it. Not the other way around. Vale's breathing slowed, and as he calmed down, the walls slowly returned to normal. Dorian watched, stunned. Mara's effect was real. Her steady presence somehow weakened the anomaly's strange behavior. You saved him, Dorian said. Mara shook her head. He saved himself. I just reminded him how. Ah, but Dorian understood something else. Her calm didn't just comfort people. It stabilized this twisted universe around them. They needed her. Maybe he needed her more than any of them. Later, in the quiet of the navigation chamber, Dorian studied the energy patterns around them. None made sense. The anomaly behaved like a world built from broken memories. And then it began. A soft sound drifted through the chamber. A whisper. Human. Familiar. Dorian froze. He knew that voice. He turned. And there she was. A small girl, no older than 10, standing in the corner. Bare feet. Bright eyes. Eyes he had seen before. She reached out and whispered, Captain, why didn't you save us? The air disappeared from Dorian's lungs. This wasn't possible. This child had died on Elaris colony. He took a shaky breath. Not real, he whispered. You're not real. The girl stepped closer, her expression shifting, becoming sadder. You left us. You promised to protect us. His throat tightened painfully. He saw flames. He saw smoke. He saw the evacuation shuttles failing. He saw his own hand reaching. Too late. Always too late. Stop, he whispered. This isn't real. Yes, it is, the girl said. That voice cut deep. Deep into the part of him he never let anyone touch. His storm was rising. The room darkened. The walls twisted. Shadows grew. And then, a hand touched his arm gently. Captain, it was Mara. She stood beside him, her presence like a soft light cutting through the dark. It's not real, she said quietly. It's your memory. The anomaly is using your fear and guilt to shape itself. The girl flickered like a glitching hologram. Dorian's breathing slowed. Mara stepped between him and the illusion. Her calm created a ripple around them, an invisible barrier pushing the nightmare back. "Captain, listen to me," Mara said softly. "You did not cause what happened on Alaris." But Dorian shook his head. "I should have saved them." "Dorian, you saved thousands," she replied. "The ones who escaped owe their lives to your decision. You didn't fail, Dorian. You did everything anyone could have done." Hearing his name from her lips hit him in a way nothing else had. The girl faded into smoke, then disappeared. The room returned to normal. Dorian let out a long, shaking breath. "Thank you." Mara watched him gently. "Your mind is carrying a storm, Captain, and this place will keep trying to use it against you." Dorian finally met her eyes. "What do you think it wants?" She looked at the flickering lights around them. "I think it wants understanding. Maybe it wants connection." Before he could respond, the ship trembled. Jax's voice echoed over the comm. "Captain, you need to get to the command deck right now." They rushed together. When they reached the deck, the view outside the main window had changed again. The pocket universe was collapsing, the colors twisting faster, the space compressing like a closing hand. "What's happening?" Dorian asked. Riva's hands shook as she pointed to the readings. "The anomaly is unstable. It's breaking apart. If it collapses with us inside," Jax began. "We won't survive," Dorian finished. Before he could give orders, the whisper returned louder this time. Clearer, a voice, but not one voice. Hundreds, thousands, like an entire lost civilization speaking through a single breath. The crew froze, listening. The whisper carried emotion, fear, regret, loneliness, hope. Mara stepped forward, eyes wide. "Captain, I think it's trying to show us something." The lights flickered. A burst of energy hit the console. A star map flashed into the air, projected by the anomaly itself. A cluster of coordinates glowed bright red. Then another wave of whispering washed through the deck, this time filled with urgency. "It's a warning," Mara whispered. "Whatever lived in this universe wanted us to see this. They wanted to tell humanity something important." The ship shook again. The pocket universe was collapsing faster. "Captain!" Jax shouted, panic rising. "We need to find a way out." Dorian stood straight, eyes fixed on the pulsing coordinates. He didn't know how, but he understood one thing with absolute clarity. The anomaly didn't pull them in to destroy them. It pulled them in to deliver a message. "Mara," he said quietly, "can you still feel the anomaly reacting to emotions?" "Yes, strongly." Dorian exhaled. "Then we might be able to guide it." He placed his hand on the railing, steady and sure. "We're getting out of here," he said. "All of us." The ship shook violently. The storm inside the anomaly was rising again. But this time, Dorian wasn't running from the storm. Mara stepped beside him, calm as always. "You're not alone, Captain." And for the first time in a very long time, he believed her. A final pulse hit the ship. "This is wise, and the money's ours, and the wise," and everything went white. Light returned like a slow sunrise, soft at first, then brighter, then powerful enough that every person on the Resolute shielded their eyes. Captain Dorian Hale blinked, trying to understand what happened. The alarms were silent. The ship was no longer shaking. The strange sounds, the bending walls, the whispering voices, all of it had stopped. They were out. The Resolute floated in normal space again. Jax let out a long breath. "We made it. We're alive." Riva wiped her forehead. "I can't believe it. I thought we were gone." Dorian slowly stood, his legs unsteady but strong enough. His eyes found Mara Linth. She stood near the main window, breathing calmly as always. But there was something different in her expression. Now a softness. A quiet relief that made her look more human than ever. "We escaped," she said. "The anomaly let us go." Dorian nodded. "It didn't trap us. It guided us." Everyone looked at him, confused. Mara stepped closer. "You're right. It didn't want to hurt us. It wanted us to understand something. And now we have the coordinates it shared." The crew studied the floating star map still displayed above the console. The red cluster of coordinates glowed like a beating heart. Jax frowned. Captain, those coordinates point to a star system on the border between Terran space and the Eastern Coalition, Riva added. The Coalition hates us. They think humans are too dangerous, too unpredictable. If they find anything there before we do, Dorian finished her thought, they might destroy it without knowing what it is. Mara looked at him. Then we need to get there first. Dorian felt it again, the sense of purpose he thought he had lost after Ilaris. The weight inside him had not disappeared completely, but it no longer crushed him. Something had changed. Mara had helped him face the storm inside. The anomaly had given him a message. He now had something to fight for again. He drew a steady breath. Set a course for the given coordinates. Maximum speed. Jax nodded. Aye, Captain. And the Resolute jumped into faster-than-light travel. Hours later, the ship arrived at the targeted star system. The scene that greeted them was unexpected. Floating near a bright blue star was a massive megastructure larger than any space station humans had ever built. It looked ancient, almost asleep, with silver plates shaped like petals around a glowing center. Energy faintly pulsed across its surface. Captain, Riva whispered. This thing could affect entire star systems, Jax added. If the Coalition destroys it, the reaction could trigger a chain event. It could destabilize nearby stars. Dorian stared at the structure. It reminded him of the strange emotions inside the anomaly: loneliness, regret, and hope. What do you think it is? He asked Mara. She studied the soft lights across the megastructure. It feels like a message. A warning. Maybe even a last gift from the civilization that created the pocket universe. Before they could analyze further, a blaring alarm filled the command deck. Captain, Riva shouted. Coalition warships just arrived behind us. 3 large alien cruisers appeared out of faster-than-light jump, forming a tight blockade. Their metallic scales glimmered like blades in the starlight. A communication signal flashed on the main screen. A tall alien figure appeared, one of the Avaran species, known for their strict logic and distrust of humans. His silver eyes narrowed sharply. Terran vessel Resolute, he said coldly. You are trespassing. Stand down and prepare to be escorted away. Dorian stepped forward. This structure is unstable. Destroying or disturbing it will put multiple star systems at risk. The Avaran commander raised a clawed hand. Human warnings are manipulative. We know your kind. Always claiming danger. Always trying to control what you don't understand. Mara quietly stepped beside Dorian. The Avaran commander turned his gaze toward her. And this civilian is your expert? Mara bowed her head respectfully. I am Dr. Mara Linth, xenopsychologist. We were pulled into a pocket universe created by the species that built this structure. Before the anomaly collapsed, it showed us these coordinates. It wanted to warn us, to warn everyone. The commander's silver eyes narrowed. Impossible. That civilization is extinct. Extinct, Mara said slowly, but still trying to speak. A low murmur passed through the alien officers behind him. The commander leaned forward. Do you have proof? Yes, she said. The structure responds to emotion. It uses memory. It uses thought. If we get too close, or act with aggression, it may wake in the wrong way. Dorian added, We're not your enemies. If you fire on us or the structure, we all die. Let us work together. For once, the commander watched them in silence. The moment felt long, heavy, and uncertain. Then the alien's expression shifted, still stern, but thoughtful. Terrans, he said slowly, you are known for risk, for unrestrained courage, and for survival despite impossible odds. Maybe this time, your instincts are not wrong. He gave a sharp order to his fleet. All ships stand down. Prepare to observe. Jax whispered. Did that actually work? Dorian didn't answer. He simply nodded to Mara. Let's do what we came here to do. With the Coalition watching, the Resolute moved closer to the megastructure. As they approached, the lights on the structure grew brighter. The entire ship vibrated softly, as if the ancient machines sensed their presence. Mara placed her hand on a console, eyes closing. Captain, the structure is waking. It's searching for familiar signals, the emotions it learned from the anomaly. Dorian stepped beside her. What does it need? Calm, she whispered. Steady emotion. Human resilience. Hope. Dorian glanced around the command deck. You heard her. Everyone breathe. Everyone stay focused. The crew followed his order. Slowly. The ship's fear weakened. Mara opened her eyes. Good. It's responding. Thin beams of light reached from the megastructure to the Resolute, scanning the hull like fingers touching old memories. The beams trembled, then stabilized. A deep hum filled the star system. The megastructure woke fully. Its petal-like layers unfolded, revealing a glowing core. Waves of soft light spread out gently like a heartbeat. Riva stared in awe. It's stabilizing. The energy readings are balancing. Mara's voice shook with gentle wonder. This is what the anomaly wanted us to do. This structure wasn't built to destroy. It was built to protect, to warn, to prevent chaos. Dorian felt a strange warmth in his chest. For once, he wasn't fighting a storm. He was guiding it. Captain, Jack said carefully. The Coalition ships are opening a channel again. The Averin commander appeared. His expression was different, no longer cold, but quietly respectful. It appears humanity was right this time, he said. We thank you, Dorian nodded. No war today, no disaster, just survival. And cooperation, the commander added. Mara smiled softly. Maybe even trust. The alien actually bowed his head. We will remember this. The signal ended. Dorian turned to his crew. Set a course home. Everyone smiled, exhausted but relieved. The ship turned, leaving the peaceful megastructure behind alive, stable, and safe. Hours later, when the adrenaline faded and the crew rested, Dorian walked alone to the observation deck. Mara stood there, looking out at the stars. He approached quietly. You saved us. All of us. She shook her head. No, Captain. You saved yourself first. And once you believed again, everything else followed. Dorian looked at the stars, feeling something he hadn't felt in a long time: calm. You were the calm in my storm, he said softly. Mara smiled, warm and gentle. And you were the reason a whole universe listened. They stood there together, silent but connected, watching the peaceful sky. For the first time in years, Dorian's heart believed again.